So, in what is huge basketball news, we have to talk about Project B, which is obviously a league that has been set up by Maverick Carter, and people have been talking about that for a long time. People have been talking about this for quite a while. So, you can see here speculation bubble for months about potential international men's and women's league that would involve Carter as an advisor and could potentially pose a threat to both the current NBA and WNBA. I don't think it'll be a threat to the WNBA and the NBA. I think it'll be a threat to unrivaled. I think they know you're not going to beat the NBA, but I also think for the WNBA, while you can definitely beat the WNBA, it is easier just to beat unrivaled, and then your players can make a name for themselves in the WNBA, and they can go and play in this league. They can go and play in this league, and you can get all the best players in the world, and maybe a couple of players, if they only want to play in one or the other, choose to play in this one. But at the end of the day, on the women's side, you probably don't want to compete with the WNBA. You want like a 4-month season so that the WNBA stretches probably from, my ideal scenario is the WNBA stretches from like maybe December to like all this starts from December till whatever, October when it ends. But as a speculation bubble for months about potential international men's and women's league. Sorry, we've already read that. So it was first revealed by FOS this week. Carter is no longer part of the plans. At least for now, it sparked confusion what might mean for the audacious venture if this cachet was no longer part of his calculus. According to Grady Burnett, a former Google and Facebook executive who's co-founded this venture, as known as Project B, the women's league is still being built and a men's league could still be created as well. So it says here, Project B is set to begin with the Women's Basketball League, in large part because the immense growth and interest in sport. It will feature 6 teams of 11 players, each that play 7 2-week tournaments across cities in Asia, Europe, and Americas, and is already 2 years in the making. Breanna believes it can be a multi-billion-dollar business. So basically, they're playing 7 2-week tournaments, so that's 14 weeks, which is like 3 months. So my guess is almost like what I projected Caitlin Clark to do in the offseason. I was like, oh, Caitlin Clark should go to the offseason and do like a world tour. So it's like they'll go and play 2 weeks in America. They might play 2 weeks East Coast in America and go around a bunch of places and play games in big arenas. They might go 2 weeks West Coast in America, 2 weeks in China, 2 weeks in like Europe. 2 weeks, 2 weeks in like Eastern Europe, 2 weeks in Western Europe. Like it's an interesting one. But it means they're playing all over the world. And obviously there's going to be like 2 weeks in like Saudi and like Dubai and places like that. But it says here the Skype co-founder is looking to attract top players across the world. Has already begun negotiating with some WNBA stars, league source said, and Breanna confirmed they've already signed WNBA players. The growth in women's sport rivals anything in AI right now. Breanna told The Athletic, explaining why it's launching its women's basketball. It's truly majestic. The salaries the women's basketball players could draw in this league are expected to be significantly higher than ones in the W. Yet with WNBA players making a strong push to secure a much bigger piece of the revenue pie up on the CBA. Negotiations off-season league officials are widely expected to make a push of their own for players to compete exclusively in their league. Either way, almost all veteran WNBA players will be free agents this off-season. They have Alana Beard, who is the chief basketball officer. And how good was Alana Beard? Alana Beard is a 4-time All-Star, All-W team member. So yeah, this year she'll serve as the chief basketball officer. Candace Parker, Steve Young, Djokovic, and Sloane Stevens are among investors and advisors. Candace Parker is key. Candace Parker is key. She's going to be key to all of this. It says here, Sela, an entertainment company owned by Saudi-owned public investment fund, will be a partner. And a lot of people are like, oh, this is a league that's being run by the Saudis, man. The Saudis are going to be in everything. If you play FIFA, it's going to be, or EAFC, it's going to be owned by the Saudis. Like, they are going to have, like, they own Newcastle. They have part ownership in Chelsea. The Saudi public investment fund is going to be in everything. It's going to be very hard. Like, if you if you want to be principled and say you're not doing anything that's even remotely involved in the Saudi investment fund, then a large chunk of some of the stuff you enjoy right now in entertainment, just scrap it. Like, these countries are running out of oil and they're just going, we're going to put money into everything. It is absolutely sports washing. Like, there are moral and ethical things against this, but there are also moral and ethical things. You can look at any single sport league in the world, any single sport team, and you can find moral and ethical reasons to not support it. Like, unless, of course, you just want to be, the fans of Forest Green Rovers or something, or hashtag United. There are issues with that, but all that means is that there's going to be money in it. And again, the Saudi Public Investment Fund a lot of the times seem to be okay with losing money in order to, get a better look of their on their country, better PR for their country. Again, we can have all these problems with it, but look, if it's going to get to the stage now where if you're going to take that principled stance against them, against anything that's Saudi backed money wise or Dubai backed money wise, like, it's going to be hard to do anything. And that's just unfortunate. That is just unfortunate. But sports become a massive global asset. And look, that's where their assets are. That's what they're putting money in sports, because the oil money is going to dry up, and then sport is a big asset. So that's where they're putting their assets in. That's where Saudis are betting. They're betting that, sports is going to be the way forward. So it says here, the league hopes to reach many basketball fans that live outside the United States. While the league will initially avoid the WNBA season, he doesn't discount could eventually become a competitor to WNBA. I don't think it will. I think it benefits both. It will benefit them to have the WNBA. It says here, again, intends to launch next fall from November through April, so not overlap with WNBA season, but unrivaled, another upstart basketball league. We see this as something that will be helpful in lifting athletes across sport and bring more access and proximity to fans across the world, he said. So does it put us in competition? Maybe, but I think we're trying to do something that is an additive to the sport and the overall ecosystem. We've got tremendous respect for W and other leagues that are out there, but we think there's plenty of room for another offering. Yeah, they're not going to say, no, there's no conflict of interest or none of this bullshit. It's like, no, maybe. This year, when Carter was involved, there were comparisons being made to Live Golf, in large part because of the presence of Saudi partners and the prospect of James' possible involvement. Several sources close to Star indicate there was genuine curiosity on their part to see where it all goes, with players and their agents drawn by the allure of making even more money in the league and potentially being given kind of equity stakes that aren't available in the NBA. But Carter's lack of involvement could be a game changer on that front. Still, Breanna doesn't view that Project B could expand into men's basketball, including a possible launch soon as next fall. We're going to focus on the women's side at this point. I think it's natural to assume we will do other things as well as that. The NBA standard player contract specifically bars players from playing in any other league. So if players signed to a deal with a team, Burnett says, they will cross that bridge on other leagues or other potential conflicts in the future. Like, look, I think in men's it's going to be tougher. I think the men's going to be a lot tougher. So obviously we're talking about this, like Carter and Jokic's agent. I think Jokic could go and just play a year in this for the laws, like. But the big thing is that this, I think, is going to do one of two things. I think I think the key player in this is Candace Parker. I think Candace Parker is the key. Like, I think she is absolutely the key, because this is going to be like a 5-on-5. They play 14 weeks, which is 3 months. So they start in November. What's it like? Did they say November through April? So I think it's November through April, is it? Is that what they said? Yeah, November through April. But November, December, January, February, March, April. That's 6 months. And 12 weeks is just over 3 months. So you're playing half the time. So from November through April, you're going on like a 2 week. You're going 2 weeks, you're playing games here. Then you got like 2 weeks, you can rest, you can work out, you can see what you're doing. You're all over the world, you become a world brand. This is something where players are going to get paid $2, $3, $4 million. That is a given. Like, there are, 6 teams of 11 players per team. So there's 66 players in this team. Let's just say, and they said they think it will be $1 billion business. So let's just say hypothetical. Every player makes $1 million on average. Like, that would be my guess, is the average salary in this league is going to be $1 million. I think there's going to be some form of there's going to be the minimum contract could be 300k, the max could be 5 million. There's not going to be a salary cap. It's not like, oh, it's not the Saudi league. It's not like they're playing in Saudi Arabia. It is just a new league where they're traveling all over the world. So basically, there's a bunch of teams. There's no home teams, but it is realistically the worldwide women's basketball tour. Is the worldwide exhibition tour, where they're just it's just a traveling tour of basketball. And with 6 teams, 11 players per team, 5v5, I think it's going to still be competitive enough. So it's 2-week games. It's 2 weeks. My guess would be 2 games a week. So it's probably 28 games over 4 months. Or say over 6 months, play 28 games. And maybe a week off in between. Like let's be real. They go to Europe. You play six different things. You show up to Paris and you fill up their biggest stadium, especially depending on who you have. You show up to a certain place and you fill up their stadiums. This league, whether this league works or not, all depends on one player, and it's Caitlin Clark. It's as simple as that. This league depends on Caitlin Clark, and there is a much greater chance that Caitlin Clark plays in this than plays on Unrivaled. Why is there a much greater chance that she plays in this than Unrivaled? It's 5v5. It's simple as that. It's 5v5. She will be paid. If she wants $10 million to play in this league, she'll play in this league. If she wants $50 million to play in this league, she probably... I actually think Caitlin Clark could sign a Ronaldo type deal. A Messi type deal. I think they would give Caitlin Clark 10% of the league. Like that, because of how important she is. I think they would give Caitlin Clark $15, $20 million. And I would not be that surprised if Caitlin Clark's age, if Erin Kane goes, she wants $50 million to play in this league. If they say, okay. If they say, okay. If she says, I want $50 million, or I want $40 million, and I want Aaliyah Boston, I want Lexi Hull, I want Kate Martin, I want Sabrina Ionescu, I want, heck, for argument's sake, I want Angel Reese in this league as well. I want AJ Wilson in this league. Get it done. And they go, okay, yeah, Aaliyah, how much? You're in Arrival. Okay, you're making what? 300k? Yeah, we'll give you 2 million. Yo, AJ, yeah, you don't really want to play in the offseason. How does 5 million sound? Angel, yeah, you know, you're doing great stuff off the floor. You're probably not playing Unrivaled this year. Unrivaled only paid you 500k last year. Yeah, we'll 10x that. Give 5 million to play in this league. And you can still do all your stuff in like the weeks off. Like half the time you're going to be off. So here's 5 million, just play hard in these games. Like that's not impossible. Like that, people don't understand how much money some of these like companies will have, and some of these countries have, and some of these investors have, because they're saying it like they think women's sports is the new AI, which is, it's a lot of tech bros. This is tech bros, Saudis. These are all like people that are pumping money into everything. They pump money into everything, and now it's like, okay, yeah, women's sports, we think it's going to be the new up. So they could invest 100 million in this year one, because they don't really need because they're traveling all around the world. They don't need the facilities. All they do is pay for player travel, player health, player like insurance and everything, player salaries, and then the gym, and then renting out arenas. So yeah. Anyway, it is that's pretty much it, lads. That's the video. I'll see you guys.